Day one, we're finally getting inside the teal house and we're starting all the work. We're actively doing the trash out behind me. This is not the first look of the house. This is when we're actually going to go through the house with my contractors and develop kind of the vision for the house, using it as a blank canvas. Now that everything is being trashed out, there's no more belongings that the homeowner left, and we're able to kind of see what we're working with. So let's go inside, talk to him, and see what we can come up with.
The seller was in a lot of financial trouble. They were facing foreclosure and they just needed to sell the house. I guess they had taken out a lot of loans against the property and they just really couldn't keep up with the payments. Called us, said, hey, we'll give you a fair cash offer. You won't actually go into foreclosure, and everybody wins. So we got an off-market deal that was undervalued and they got out of their financial situation.
So we're trying to get a few work days in because it's gonna be about 8 inches of snow here in the next couple days. So we wanna get as much work done as possible because in this business, it's all about time. The longer you hold projects, the higher your costs go up. So the quicker we can get in and out, actually do the work, do it correctly, get in and out and get it back on the market, the better the business is gonna be. So let's go.
House had a lot of work that needed to be done, not like structurally, but cosmetically, because they just did not take care of it.
All right, so now we are finally in the house. We're trashing everything out. Previous homeowners left a lot of belongings, which is okay because that is one of the services that we provide to add value to the entire transaction with the homeowner. We'd always tell them, leave whatever junk you don't want, take everything that you do want with you, and everything that you leave behind, we're gonna go ahead and take care of. First thing that jumps out to me right here standing in the living room is we've got these hardwood floors that look super tired, and they obviously had a couple dogs or some pets in here, and we're gonna go ahead and refinish these, sand them down, and put a brand new stain down, make them look brand new. Another thing that pops out to me immediately is that this is a safety concern behind me. There's no handrails.
If you have a family with small kids, they could fall off, or a little baby just walk right off the edge. If they have a certain type of loan, an FHA loan, the house will not pass an FHA appraisal if they do not have these safety guidelines in place. It was just better to fix it on the front end and make sure that we don't run into these issues once we have the work finished.
Right, Glenn?
You're free.
What do you think?
Good.
The basement was full of a lot of stuff in there and you couldn't really see past it to determine whether or not you could add square footage down there.
I want to finish off this space down here to create the most amount of square footage as possible. We'll wall all of this off right here.
Yep.
And we'll add carpet to this entire downstairs so we can finish off the space. Since we're trashing everything out today, we'll get rid of everything, all the shelves, that all has to go so that we can paint the walls and we can add the carpet down here.
Yeah.
I get rid of all the shelving because in my opinion, shelving is a preference. I may want shelving in a certain place, you may want it in a different place. And so what we do with our homes that we renovate is that we remove all of that and we give the new homeowner the option to put shelving wherever you want. And so what it does is that it opens up the space, it maximizes the look and feel of the square footage, and then it also doesn't really pigeonhole the new homeowner to put items on those shelves because they're attached to the wall.
And then we've got this little half bath down here.
So essentially the crawl space and the bathroom was not separated. It was just one big open area with a toilet in the middle. And so really what we wanted to do was close off the bathroom, close off the storage space to separate them so they could have separate uses.
We're just gonna wall all this up because on the other side of the stairs where we came down, there's an access already that they can use for the storage.
And we also wanted to finish off the bathroom to where it's a nice finished space and people can be proud to call it a bathroom.
So we need new vanity, toilet fixtures, flooring, and since it's only a half bath, it's just gonna be a toilet and a sink.
The toilet was raised, it looked like a king's toilet or like a throne because the homeowner had at some point just gotten too lazy and they didn't want to run the plumbing under the foundation. So what they did is they poured a raised block, put the toilet on top of it, and then ran the plumbing from the block to lay on the floor to go outside of the house.
We're gonna have to mess with the flooring a little bit because the toilet's raised to allow for plumbing line, but this is gonna be a completely finished space once we're done with it.
It was just a lazy way to install a toilet.
One thing we need to look at too,
Yeah, the pipe.
It was a good thing that we remodeled this bathroom because we found out that the entire main drain system was cracked and needed to be replaced.
So that all needs to be replaced. We're not gonna be able to sell this thing without having that. Also, to enhance the space, I wanna get rid of this door right here. We'll clear out all this trash in here, and then I want this to be included in the finished space so that it's one continuous finished space down here.
Okay.
I didn't know at the first look exactly what that room was gonna be, whether it was gonna be a basement, bedroom, or if it was gonna be like a home office. I knew it was gonna be a room of some sort. I just didn't really know what to designate it at. We left that open to interpretation from the homeowner. All we did is just finish off the space. Here's a home office, here's another bedroom, here's a gaming area. You can do with it what you want. We wanna give you that option.
And then the garage in here, it's really tight to work with.
Normally what we do is we would try to add a quicker access point from the garage to the main living areas. In this instance, we couldn't really do that, so we just kind of shifted the budget to other parts of the house.
So this is gonna be one of the challenges of the sale, is that the garage is one small car and the ceiling isn't very high, but we're gonna do what we can to make the space a little bit as big as possible, because they've got a ton of shelves in here that really make it look small.
That's why it looks small, yeah.
Actually, once we cleaned it out and removed all those shelves, it was a lot bigger.
So the previous homeowners had dogs and they didn't really care where they went to the bathroom or if they had all of their hair all over the house. So what we need to do is really scrub this place down. You know, I mean, you can see all the dirt and everything up here. And
they had a lot of pets. There was a lot of dog poop, and they would just basically track all that in from the outside. It smells, it stinks, and it's just one thing that we have to make sure that we get rid of, because if we do all the work and we still have that pet smell, then we've got another problem that we have to face.
And then the access that we were talking about for the under storage is right here. So we'll just add a door here. And then we'll keep the washer and dryer hookups here. We'll add tile underneath so that if there ever is a water leak, it won't ruin the carpet that's underneath. And so now we can go upstairs.
The layout was quirky of the house. The challenge was figuring out how to unquirk it. You have to see the space for what it could be. You have to see potential opportunities to where you can add cabinet space, you can add countertop space, you can rearrange the appliances, or you can rearrange the direction of the cabinets. So if you have that ability to kind of have that foresight and do a mental drawing in your head of the space, you can implement it when you're actually doing the renovation.
Okay, so here in the kitchen, I think one thing we're gonna do is get rid of all this old tile. Obviously refinish the hardwoods. It's a really tight space in here with this big bulky refrigerator. So can we add the refrigerator off in this unfinished space over here?
Yes.
Kitchen was small. It was not a lot of space to work with. And so we just tried to, again, maximize the space as much as possible and add functionality where we could.
Let's close all of this. And then we'll add more cabinets. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll add a fridge over here.
And continue the cabinet.
And continue the cabinets, yeah.
Got it.
I'm visualizing what I would do when I'm making a meal, or I'm cleaning dishes, or I'm doing some sort of function that the everyday homeowner is going to do in this kitchen. And then we make that a reality by adding more functionality with the kitchen.
So the cabinets are just like the rest of the house, super dirty, but what we're gonna do is just add a fresh coat of paint, some new hardware, and I think these will look really nice once we've kind of cleaned them up. We wanna make sure there's no dings, they're not missing doors, the hinges aren't falling off or anything like this, and that's just something that we can keep to allow us to save money on the renovation budget.
Whenever I walk through a renovation and develop a scope of work, I always try to determine how can I add the most value for the least amount of money. And in this case, that meant keeping the kitchen cabinets because they were in good shape.
Countertops, we're gonna upgrade those to quartz and make sure that we've got a really nicer finish, and then go ahead and add a backsplash as well.
The countertops weren't in as great a shape as the cabinets. We just had to replace them. We went with a higher end quartz because it really has a look and feel of a high-end kitchen.
Appliances look newer, and so what we can do is just save them, clean them up, and then that way that's another expense that we won't have to spend while we're fixing it up.
The budget wasn't extremely tight on this one, but we always try to stay within the number that we determined at the very beginning, because then you get into a budget creep is what we call it, because little instances where you go over budget here and there, they add up to an overall project figure that you didn't really account for. So if you have $500 here, $1,000 here, $1,500 here, pretty soon you've spent $10,000 over budget, not in one place specifically, but throughout the entire project.
Let's check out the bathroom. Okay. The vanity is in pretty good shape. It's just a little dated, and what we're gonna do is just add a coat of paint here, and we're gonna refinish the countertops right here, and it'll make it look super nice. The tub and the surround has got to go, so that'll all be brand new plumbing, fixtures, and we'll add a tile backsplash and then a coat of paint. Flooring's in relatively good condition, and in this neighborhood, it's really not going to command a high-end finish. So what we're going to do is just kind of leave it. If there's any cracked tiles or anything like that, we're going to go ahead and replace them. But super light in the bathroom, and again, we can focus that budget somewhere else if we need to. It's a 3-bedroom house. We got bedroom 1, 2, and 3. Really all we're gonna be doing in here is adding new coats of paint, new fixtures in here, painting all the doors, all the trim, fix the holes, fix the walls, and really make it bright and white in here.
Something as simple as paint colors adds to the look and feel. We have a white template and scheme that we put on the walls versus a darker color, and it makes the space feel much more open, much more wider than it actually is, just by changing the paint color.
So one thing that people who are inexperienced when they house flip that they might not notice is that this window, and actually none of these windows in the house have window trim around it, so it just looks like a big old square that you can see through.
When buyers are walking through the house and they see a window without trim on it, they're gonna know something's off, but maybe it doesn't jump out at them right away. Once it becomes obvious that there's no trim around this window, it is going to stick out like a sore thumb.
We're gonna add trim, we're gonna add a windowsill right here. That's what homeowners expect. They don't just expect a square that you can see through. I'll just show you real quick what we're gonna do back here in the backyard. You know, continuing the theme of they had dogs and let them do whatever they want. The backyard is completely trashed with mud. And so what we're gonna do is add a deck back here to pretty much cover all of the yard damage that the dogs have done. And we're also going to remove all the trash, paint the outside, and just really spruce it up. There's really nothing too extravagant that we have to do on the outside to make it look nice. Okay, so that's the house. We finally got the entire scope pretty much ironed out. It's not gonna be without its challenges, but the benefits are that we bought right, and there's really not a ton of work to be done.
So we purchased the house for $140,000. We spent $40,000 worth of budget because it wasn't a huge renovation, and we had a renovation timeline of about 4 weeks. We had planned to list the house at $235,000. So after closing costs and commissions and everything, we make a quick $40,000 on this house.
So if you guys want to see how this progresses, go ahead and follow along, subscribe to the channel, Real Estate Riches Season 2. All right, so we're back. No, we're not back.
Small bedroom.
Let's go upstairs and see the rest of the house and how we can, let's just go.